You know, it's about now September, and we still haven't got back to y'all about a knee surgery update video, but that's what we're going to finally do today after such a long wait. But there are some reasons why we had to delay it, and we will explain that in this video, though.
I'm adjusting it. I'm adjusting.
Just like that, just a camera.
I'm sorry, guys.
Don't fall now, you dumbass.
So, like he said, it's September.
Jesus.
We have not updated. I had surgery in June 7th to be exact. So, I'm now 3 months, almost 3 months in the day post-op, guys. I'm sorry.
Can't do math. That's why we didn't let you do math.
And we've kept quiet. I've had people asking me about my knee, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's doing good. It's doing good. But today we're coming out with the truth about my knee. We never spoke the truth until we had a definite answer, and we got that definite answer yesterday. So I feel like it's time to go ahead and let you guys know. We know we've done multiple videos in between. If you've watched those videos, you've seen me go from brace to with locked and walking to unlocked and walking to no brace and walking. And just you've seen it a little bit, but you've had no explanation behind the scenes of everything that you guys have seen. I know I left off telling you guys that, the pain was still pretty bad. When we filmed the video, it was still June. We uploaded it at the very end, maybe very beginning of July. And when we filmed it, I was non-weight bearing. The pain was still extremely bad. When we uploaded it, I became partial weight bearing, meaning I was still on crutches, but I was bearing weight. And pain was still pretty bad, but I was just taking it into my head as this is the muscles healing. This is the nerves getting used to the fact that I was just cut into. I kind of took it that way. And now when I look back upon it, I should have noticed a lot of things back then, especially with how things felt. But July 2nd, which was shortly after we actually came up with that storytime video, I started walking. I had no crutches. It was pretty painful, but it was manageable. Because I thought, oh, this is just because my leg's not used to it. But it was completely unexpected. Nobody expected me to walk out of my room with no crutches. I had both crutches against the wall. Earlier that morning, I was still using them. I did a 4th of July party. Austin came over, and I'm letting him explain to you guys how he felt when I just randomly walked out there to him with nothing, except the brace, of course.
Yeah, so it was really shocking again. I honestly thought that she was going to do a video idea on me because it was been a while since we did one. Because, we have whatever video came out was either the blindfold or doing the morning routine thing.
It was right after the surgery
video.
video.
Right after the surgery video, but I know we had other ideas. But I thought you were going to try to do something beforehand. So I honestly thought that this was going to be another video idea because she told me to stand outside her door, which is never normal for her. She normally wants me to come into her room, be there for her and everything. And when she finally walked me, I was very shocked by it because, you don't expect somebody to skip a crutch going to a cane like hers, which is what she normally had to do. That's what you had to do for other ones, so I wasn't expecting her just to walk to me. I was very happy about it, but it was very concerning at the time, too, because at that point I could see that she was still struggling with it. So it felt like maybe she did need those steps, but I obviously didn't know. But it did seem like a good thing, but at the same time I was still obviously concerned about it.
I'm pretty sure Austin could see, this look of, I'm doing it, I'm happy I'm doing it, but it hurts. And I knew it hurt. I could feel it and everything like that. But again, I thought it was just, hey, this is the first time I've done this. It's gonna hurt. Later that night, I remember having to even go grab my crutches for a little bit because it was so bad. To the point, I kept my crutches on standby, but I continued to be able to walk without them. Mm-hmm. And I can remember just the look on his face. He had this look of, what the fuck are you doing? Are you even ready for this yet? But at the time, my brace was still locked because I couldn't do a straight leg raise on my own. I still had to either grab my brace, because the brace kind of set like this. I would have to take my fingers under it and pull up. I would show you guys my leg. It's kind of hard to just lift it up to the camera.
I can do it.
Or I'd have to have Austin help me, or my parents help me lift my leg up onto my bed. Simple things like that. And I thought everything was, this was all processed, the pain and everything like that. End of July, right before school started, a few weeks before school started, so maybe middle end of July, I finally got my brace unlocked, and it was amazing for me. I was so proud of myself. I was raising my leg on my own. My knee was not buckling that bad. So I got it unlocked, and I was told, if it buckles on you, lock the brace. So, in times where it buckled, I would relock it. I'm still walking and everything. Then I had my post-op appointment with my surgeon, in which, instead of getting to come out of the brace like I was supposed to, he told me to stay in the brace, lock it when you need to. I told him about the pain I was having. I mean, it was very sensitive to touch still. I felt like a fire going throughout my whole leg. And at this time, it was just from the top of my knee all the way down to my toes. And I was thinking, whatever. It's a little process. And he told me, he said, well, certain muscles are still atrophied. They're still very weak. And that's where we both thought the burn pain was coming from, was the fact that my muscles were still extremely weak and they were getting worked out so much and things like that. Because, you know, like when you, for example, when you work out, you feel like a burn in your muscle. Except, instead of it feeling kind of like that, it felt even worse. It felt like someone actually set fire to it. But our thought was, you know, the EDS makes things feel a little bit worse anyways. You know, whatever. In pain, you know, I have a pain tolerance that isn't that great as it is. So we thought it was just that. I was told to keep an eye on things. Well, I finally got to come out of the brace after not having much buckling at all on Friday the 13th of August. Keep that in mind. I just said Friday the 13th. So I now call this the curse of surgery. But I noticed over time things were progressively getting worse. I'm not sure if Austin really noticed it. My pain was getting worse. The fire pain was getting worse. Day by day, it finally spread up to my hip, except for this one little spot in my hip where it's like completely numbed out because I had hip surgery, and that scar is just staying completely numbed out since I had it my sophomore year. But like I said, I don't know. Did you even like really notice it was getting worse?
It was noticeable because you always constantly had to fix your brace or had to constantly grab your knee, stop.
When I came out of the brace.
Even when you're out of the brace, you still stopped. You stopped more often than what you used to.
Did I have a limp?
Somewhat. Like it wasn't that noticeable. Like you had to watch how you were walking constantly and notice it. Like somebody who spends time around you constantly would notice it. But like somebody who doesn't really see you that often probably wouldn't notice it at all. I only noticed it because I could constantly spend time with you, saw it, was there through the whole process of it. So that's probably why I saw it. I don't know if anyone else could have, but
right.
I could definitely see it.
Right. And it continuously got worse. And I didn't know what to think. At one point, I looked at Austin and I said, I think something messed up with surgery. And we were both contemplating on the fact that I could possibly have a second surgery. And that's what, we kind of went into my appointment yesterday thinking. And we knew of other things, many other things could be on the back burner. But it was not really that thinkable to even be said to me like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
What was like, I just want to know, like your anticipation yesterday into my appointment, not knowing if I was having a second surgery, not knowing what was going on. What was like the anticipation?
As bad as it sounds, I honestly, like, knowing what the other things were, I honestly was hoping that we were going to go for another second surgery, even though as much as I hate them, and as much as they scare me, it felt like, honestly, the best option out of the rest of them that was there, obviously. So as bad as it sounds, I don't want anyone to take that in a bad way, or me wanting her to have surgery. It was just, out of the options that we had, to me, that seemed like one of the better options.
Now, I do want to, you know, just kind of keep this in mind, guys. My strength, I've also lost that. I'm going to kind of show you guys, like, because I know you guys can kind of see, like, Austin's foot, his hands, whatever. I can barely even do, like, this right now to my leg, and it hurts like hell. My leg right now, it feels like it's on fire. But I had a strength test. I was supposed to have a strength test, rather, done yesterday. They were going to test my strength, completely clear me for everything. That was the goal of the appointment. But instead, my quad muscle is still atrophied. I need my brace for long distance walking because of the buckling. Especially at school. I was told to stay in my brace for at school. I still have work restrictions. I did get to return to work, by the way. I know I did not mention that until just now. I still have work restrictions. I can only work the drive-thru because I can, in the drive-thru, you're not doing a whole bunch of running back and forth. I now have to have at least 10-minute breaks on days that I work less than 6 hours, because if you work 6 or more hours, you get a 30-minute. If you work less than 6, you don't get a break at all. And when he was touching, like my doctor, he was touching my leg yesterday and different things like that, he began to notice signs of me having something called CRPS, also known as Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. And he looked at me, like, he got done with this assessment, and he sits down, and he just kind of was like, well, and I was like, what? And he said, everything that you're showing right now. He said, your pain was pretty bad the last time I saw you. You had the burning pain. I didn't think much of it because a lot of times, coming out of surgery, like the kind of surgery I had, and the way that my leg was doing at that time 6 weeks ago, it honestly seemed like it was just my nerves regenerating, my muscles trying to, go back to normal, especially because my left hip, okay? I had surgery on that, and it took quite a while for my nerves to completely regenerate and calm down. But by the time I saw him at my 12-week appointment instead of 6-week, that's when, that it calmed down for that. And then we were discussing my right knee. I had surgery done by another surgeon, which happened to work with him before. It was his ex-wife. Surgery done by another surgeon for my right knee. So we were discussing that and discussing if it ever happened with my right. Never had. We discussed my shoulder from both times. Nothing ever happened with any type of surgery I've ever had. Anything like this. So he looks at me and he goes, everything matches up to complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS. And I was like, okay. He said, so I hate to tell you this, but you have CRPS. That was the last thing I wanted to hear. I would have rather wanted to hear you need a second surgery, because with the second surgery, okay, he could have went back to the same scars if he absolutely could have made that possible, like he did with my left shoulder. He could have went off and made a new scar. I could have stayed in my brace longer. I could have went back on the crutches. I could have done whatever I needed to do. I didn't care what I was going to have to do if I had to have a second surgery, because I knew that having a second surgery would probably fix the problem. But getting told that I have CRPS instead, it kind of sucks, because the pain's not going to go away, ever. It can be managed, but it's not going to go away. I'm going to let Austin go ahead and explain a little bit what CRPS is. I'm just going to get to that note for him. So here you go.
Well, so basically CPRS is one
CRPS?
of the I can't speak
CPRS.
English apparently. CRPS, yes. CRPS is more rare and chronic. It's one of the rare conditions, which apparently for her she just seems to attract those, I guess. But it is known as the most painful condition known to man, and it's #1 ranking higher than childbirth. I can't say that word.
Fibromyalgia.
I can't say those words. I can't
Ankylosing spondylitis, and even non-terminal cancer on the McGill Pain Index. Now, when he says #1, technically, if you look at the index #1 to 50, 50 is like your #1 worst. So it ranks right there between, I think it's like 45, 50. So it's known as one of the most painful conditions known to humankind. Like I said, CRPS stands for Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to explain the symptoms that I had, and then I'll let Austin explain all of the symptoms. So, like, all these symptoms that come with it. So for me, I had the continuous throbbing and the burning pain. I had sensitivity to touch, not to mention a temperature change. Sometimes my leg feels extremely hot. Other times it feels like I've laid my whole entire leg in a bucket of ice, but just that part of my body. Nothing else, just the leg. The changes in skin color, I already have blood pooling in my legs because of postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, but my left leg, it looked different. It looked blotchy, like the blood pooling was worse. It looked almost like molded, and it still does, like, all the time. If it's in a different position, it looks molded. And also, like, joint stiffness and swelling, everything's swollen back up. I have a decrease in motion. And that almost actually does wrap up the symptoms. Austin, you can go ahead and tell them, just tell them the one symptom that I have not had.
Muscle spasm. That's the only one you haven't had, luckily. Like, I haven't seen any of it.
Right, I haven't had
as
no
far as
muscle
we know.
spasms.
So.
It can, the pain can actually drastically change someone's life, and it can spread to other parts of the body, that's another big reason why I was hoping he wouldn't say I have CRPS, because I don't want it to spread. I have a fear, like, okay, I have my tube, which you guys have seen before. I have a fear of it spreading to my tube site, or spreading somewhere else. Like, okay, what happens if I have, I'm going to use this for example, what happens if I have right wrist surgery? This is a random example. CRPS spreads there after surgery, right? Or something. Like, that's a fear of mine. But there's multiple different treatments for CRPS. I'll go ahead and let us explain
Which
that.
is more just therapy or normal meds than the TENS unit, which we are luckily going to get one soon for her. So we're hoping that's going to help control it a little bit. And then spinal cord stimulators.
I'm going to quickly explain the TENS unit, exactly what it is. Some people may have heard of it, because it's used in physical therapy sometimes. And yeah, some people get them because of pain from like car wrecks and whatever. I know my stepmom she has one from a car wreck she had a long time ago. But it's known as a transcutaneous electric nerve stimulator. And basically what it does is it has these little electrodes that go around the area. You don't put it right on the area of pain, but you go around the area. And it kind of just stimulates those nerves. Actually, I have one on the way. It's called the TU3000 or TENS Unit 3000. And then the spinal cord stimulator, basically, it's just this little thing that kind of like sits outside of the spinal cord, and it kind of just shocks the nerves a lot. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. I don't know that much information about the spinal cord stimulator, but that, guys, is why we haven't really spoke. I do want to address that we were asked multiple times, how's your knee? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Can I see this? Can I see that? When we tell you guys that we have an update coming soon, we just can't make the update right now, there could be a big reason why. And in this case, this was a big reason why. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. I did not want to turn on the camera and be like, hey guys, I'm walking. I'm out of my brace. Yay. And tell you guys, but I'm still in pain. And that'd be the end of the video. I'm sure Austin didn't want to start the camera and be like, hey guys, she's walking. She's hurting really bad. We don't know why. Goodbye, guys. We wanted to be able to come to the video with answers. A full-on update and everything like that. This being said, though, I am not healed. As far as my knee surgery goes. I will forever have CRPS in this leg. Now, knee surgery-wise, structurally, everything's looking great. The only thing surgically that I still need to recover from is my strength of the muscles, especially because that's dropped drastically. And it could be due to just, like, I've been in so much pain, and pain will, of course, affect how much you're doing. So I have to, work hard with the therapy to keep my knee going in the right direction as far as surgically post-op goes. And if we ever have an update about my knee as far as, hey, she's completely out of her brace. She's not using it at school anymore. Her muscles, her quad muscles no longer atrophied. Things like that. We will let you guys know, but it's not going to be in an update video like this. It's going to be a, hey guys, side note, we just wanted to tell you guys this. If you ask us a question in the comments, please know that we will answer you. Feel free to ask any question you have about the CRPS or whatever it may be. If you have questions about Austin, please ask questions about Austin. I'm the one who gets questions asked about. We need some questions about this dude over here. It's not just the Life of Kailyn channel. It's the Life of Austin and Kailyn. And I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I feel a little bit, I don't want to say harassed, but like pressured into.
There you go. That's
I need to say this. I need to say that. I need to hurry up and come up with something for an update or whatever. So if I tell you guys that we don't really have answers and this is why we haven't done it, that's why we haven't done it, and I do apologize for that. And I will apologize again if it ever comes to it. But please just be patient with us, always. I know something like this, it's not expected to have to hear these words in a video. And it's not expected to, like, I guess, wait this long. like I said, I had surgery in June. The video came out towards the very end of June, and here it is September. Is there anything you want to add? Like, I just want to know, how do you feel, I guess, how do you feel with the CRPS, honestly?
It's going to be definitely different. I'm going to have to definitely change, especially if it spreads. As of right now, I'm really more sensitive when it comes to being around her, well, this leg and all, because now really just like, even when we just cuddle or anything, I just try to be careful because I don't know, anytime it could be the point I do that, it could hurt her. It's really more of, now I'm really more careful around her when I'm on this side or dealing with this side, because I don't want to do anything to her. Yeah.
Thank you.
See, right there, perfect example.
I'll put it to you this way, guys. It hurts so much that my jeans that I have on right now, it hurts my leg. But even if I was to change into shorts, it's gonna hurt the top part of my leg, and I can't just wear nothing. So I have to wear something. Does it scare you?
It doesn't scare me. I think that really it was the only scare that I have is it's spreading all over. I can handle maybe if it was in 2 spots or something like that.
I'm scared of like
It
if
spreads,
it spreads all over.
If it
You're
spreads
scared
all
of
over,
hug me.
yeah.
If you're gonna hurt me when you hug me, things like that. Yeah, I understand that. Did it bother you when I messaged you and said it's indeed CRPS?
It didn't bother me. It was just more of what am I gonna have to do now to change, to do certain things, or just anything.
How can I be more careful?
Exactly. That's really all it was. It was really more of what do I need to change about when this happens, or if this happens, what do I need to do more of because of this side hurting, or...
I will say, I mean, I'm glad we're not blinded anymore. I'm glad we have an answer. It may not be the answer I wanted to hear. It may just be because of the fact that I already have Ehlers-Danlos. I have POTS. I have osteogenesis imperfecta, and I've never wanted to hear another diagnosis come into the list. But I guess what's bound to happen. I mean, I have another diagnosis coming into the list at some point with my GI issues. Whether it's God knows what. At some point, one day they're gonna look at me and say, "Hey, you have this," and it may not be what we're testing for right now when it comes to my GI issues, but you never know. So. Maybe I should have thought about it more way before the appointment. Maybe I feel like a little bit that I didn't, I don't know, like, because it could have easily been the muscles itself. But I guess I feel like wasn't, I guess, cautious enough? Yeah, I wasn't very precautious. Maybe I should have told Dr. Estes, well, hey, it doesn't feel like it's that, what else could be going on, but instead, I felt like it was that to begin with, and come to find out it wasn't.
You really can't be as cautious, especially when you saw, when you went to go see Dr. Estes, he even thought it was that. That's the hardest part, is that even if a doctor thinks, okay, it's just this, that's probably what really made it hard for either me or you, or anyone to tell that could have been CRPS, because even a medical professional just generally thought it was that, with how your issues are. So, there really wasn't any way we could have prepared for this at all. Even if we would have, even like when the whole way when I, almost found her diagnosis before she did. Even if I would have found CRPS before her, in any way, I don't think even I would have been worried about it because of what if her doctor said, what she said. I don't think there really would have been any really way to kind of predict this one in a sense, if that makes sense.
And before you guys ask, well, you had your brace. You said you have to wear your brace. Why are you not wearing it right now? I'm at home. I'm mainly just gonna be in the bed for the rest of the day. And so when I'm at home, or if I'm just walking from my bedroom to the kitchen, I can be without my brace. It's just mainly at school, long distance walking, especially like when me and Austin take our trips to Florence. Just things like that. So that's why I don't have it on, and I'm just trying to take this day by day. Hopefully come out of the brace at one point. I'm hoping before I go out of state that I'm out of the brace. But if I'm not, then it's just because of the muscle atrophy.
Yeah, and actually, since you mentioned that, just to let you know ahead of time, once she goes out of state, there will be no videos posted because obviously we'll be separated from each other.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to do a long distance video thing together.
So
like
this
that.
is the first video for September. I think there's 2, maybe 3 weeks left of September.
Something like that, yes.
Okay, we have 3 weeks left of September, guys. That means there's going to be 3 more videos left, and then we're going to go on a week break.
Yeah.
Because we will be on fall break.
And she's going out of state.
And I will be out of state.
So there's nothing that I can record just myself, because it's meant to be about us. And we've already done our separate videos about our day in the life and stuff like that. So
the only way that I could see us having a video during that week at all is if we were to film when we go to the fair.
Yeah.
If we were to like do a little fair vlog, which is, I mean, something we
It's
could
very
possibly
possible.
discuss, then yeah, you'd see the video for that week. But that would mean there would be no content the following week because there would have been nothing to film.
Yeah.
So one of those 2 weeks, I can guarantee you right now, there's gonna be no content,
Yep.
and it probably would be better to go ahead and get the fair video, like do a fair video.
If we can, because it also depends on the noise. I don't want it to be
Right.
more of just like what we'll probably do. We probably will record it, and if the sound is okay to use, we will have it up. If not, we will not, because I don't want it to be more of y'all just hearing that instead of hearing us, and that, you know, that way we just don't have a video if it's just not us talking, is more of just hearing in the background, listening to something like that.
And we will remind you next week when we come out with the video, and we will probably remind you the following week. Obviously, you know, if you skip this video or skip next week's video and you get to that one video before the break,
You know, it's not.
you know, or in that video before the break could also tell you, hey, yeah, we're definitely going to do a fair video or whatever. And as right now, we don't know what the next few videos are going to hold, but we can't wait to show you guys once we know.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to hear?
Yeah.